Please be in order with pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello, everybody. We have nothing for, there. How about minutes from the last one? You got it first. I got a second by legislator Walpole. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you. On the resolutions, we have nothing for government, nothing for public safety this month. So we'll get on to human services. I have an HS3 resolution authorizing creation of 2 positions, deletion of 1 position in the Department of Social Services legal team. Before we act on this, Commissioner, does this have to do with the salary? Is that all in conjunction with the setting of the salary?
Yeah, well, in my info memo, I kind of combined everything, so they are separate issues though. One is the setting of salaries in order to attract the experience for the attorney. And aside from that, because we've had real struggles, we've been recruiting for 8 months, I didn't think we could really get a 5th attorney, which is what we were looking for last year. So we kind of redesigned to delete that 1 attorney, that 5th attorney position, and create another paralegal and a senior paralegal. So 2 positions.
Okay. Well, these are,
So this resolution is just creating the 2 and deleting the 1.
Correct.
Doesn't set any salaries.
Correct. That's true.
okay. So we got a first by legislator Walpole, second by legislator
Yeah.
Emmons. Any discussion? Huh? I know. Evan. Hey, moment here. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you. HS4, resolution authorizing budget modification Department of Social Services to transfer funds into services, additional hours, and overtime. We got first by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Mangano. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you very much. Okay. Health. HE1, resolution authorizing budgetary modification, health department rollover, 2021 grant funds.
Health committee not meeting.
Okay, so I would like to get a resolution, or I'd like a motion to approve this pending jurisdictional committee approval. I have that by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Emmons. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. I can't see that that would be too much of an issue. On to infrastructure.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to move IT2 through IT6 block.
Block. I have a first, I have a second by legislator Holmes. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you very much. FB1, resolution awarding professional services contract RFP 22TR-002, auctioneer services.
Motion?
Got a first by legislator Mangano, second by legislator Holmes. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you. FP2, resolution authorizing capital project closures and transfers of project balances. I got a first by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Mangano. This is, Phil, if you'd like to elaborate on that.
Sure, this is, we try to do one of these every year, but with everything going on with the pandemic, it wasn't done last year. This, our budget analyst has completed an audit of all the current capital projects. These all are finished and can be closed. And what we do when we close a capital project is any balances left are transferred back to the source that the money came from. So this will be returning just under $300,000 to various reserves and appropriated fund balance.
Thank you for the detail on that. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you very much. FP3, resolution authorizing and ratifying a memorandum of understanding by and between the County of Oswego and the Oswego County Professional Association, Inc. First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Mangano. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you very much. Supporting departments. Solid waste.
Yes, sir. Our candidate backed out, so it won't be sending salary today.
Yeah, we were supposed to set salary. Unfortunately, the candidate,
Yeah, he decided to not.
he decided he did not want to, which we're gonna have a discussion about that shortly. So, having said that, anything else you'd like to bring forth?
No,
Okay. Personal position vacancy, oh, vacancy, there's a lot. You like? You're kind of small in the middle over there.
Yeah.
Fire away.
Okay, so for community development tourism planning, there is a vacant housing program coordinator due to a retirement and then the backfill of a housing program specialist.
I missed it, I'm sorry.
Okay. So the community development tourism and planning department has a vacancy due to a retirement for a housing program coordinator.
Mhm.
And then they would like to backfill the housing program specialist for that office as well.
Okay. I got it first by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Olson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The health department has a public health nurse backfill due to promotion, a public health nurse part-time due to resignation, a public health nurse full-time due to resignation, supervising public health nurse due to resignation, and a RN due to resignation.
Okay. I got a motion to move as a block. We got a second by legislator Mangano. Do we have, is it the standard reason we're getting as far as resignation?
Some were for other employment.
Okay. Okay, I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you.
Okay, the Office for the Aging has an aging services specialist due to retirement, and then the backfill of an aging services assistant.
Sure.
For the backfill, yes,
Moving
for that position, yeah.
Okay. I got it first by legislator Holst, second by legislator Emmons. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you.
Okay, and the Sheriff's Department has a patrol officer and a correction officer, both due to resignations.
First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Mangano. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Carries, thank you.
Social Services, the senior account clerk, backfill for promotional purposes, and the account clerk backfill for that position. A social welfare examiner due to resignation, and then 2 social welfare examiners due to retirement.
Okay. I got a first by legislator Mangano, second by legislator Walpole. My question is how are we making out on the positions that we've already approved?
Or social welfare examiners, or,
I know we've approved 13 positions here, 15 positions there. I mean, are we still in the same problem? We can't find people to fill them?
That would be true.
Is this the normal course, I guess? You know, because we're approving positions that I think we've already approved before.
Well, we're down 7 social welfare examiners right now, and these are 3 of the 7. All of those 7 are in different program areas, so it could be emergency heating, SNAP, Medicaid. I think the 2 requirements for both Medicaid, financial assistance, emergency housing. So there's several different programs umbrellaed under that whole idea of us being a safety net for citizenry.
Okay.
We're doing our best.
Just looking to see where we're at.
We have a lot of provisional, and that's not worked out all that great thus far. We did have some provisional appointments where people didn't pass the test or score high enough. So although they might have been seated for a year or even 2 whole years, doing a great job for us, we cannot make them permanent and hire them. So, just an issue in civil service and add what you'd like there, Julie, but it's, and we still have a lot of provisional people. Our director of services just took her test Saturday after 2 years being seated at that very top level position.
Yeah, the state does have a backlog of when they are giving exams and consolidating a lot of series, so we're really at the discretion of when they host the exams. And social welfare examiner, I believe it's in June every year. We give that exam, so we are giving another one.
But there's a lot of training, our DSS
Oh,
positions.
I'm not denying that. I just don't understand if the state is that backlogged. Why isn't the state stepping up and placing more tests out there for,
Exactly.
you know,
I know. We try to put a lot of heat and requests on them, and it's not just our jurisdiction, it's across the state.
oh, I'm sure,
Yeah.
I'm sure. But I guess it should be, I want it noted,
Mm-hmm.
you know, on the record, we're having issues getting personnel through several different areas in our county because the tests aren't being given or they're not soon enough.
Well, not all are required exam, so.
Well, I'm just saying, I know that there's other areas within the county that we're waiting for tests to be given.
Yeah.
That,
I can say that the city's going through the same problem, you know.
my point. So it's, I mean, I know it's not just us, and I'm sure it's across the board.
And there's organizations, particularly with the social welfare examiner, that we're trying to get out of just basically a training experience exam. So we don't have, at the discretion of the ability to give it when we want it, like our caseworkers and our clerical exams, but that process sometimes takes years, sadly. So
Okay, well, we have a first and a second. Any other discussion, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you. Thank you.
Solid waste, there's an enforcement officer part-time, vacant due to retirement, a maintenance mechanic A, backfill for promotional purposes, and then the backfill to that position of a P for promotion. Assistant loader operator, backfill for promotional purposes, and a light equipment operator backfill.
Okay, you got a motion by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Holst. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you.
And fire instructor part-time at the fire advisory due to resignation.
You got a first by legislator Manuel, second by legislator Emmons. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you. Thanks, Julie. Administration.
Good afternoon. You have the budget variance, expenditure variance report in front of you. If you go to the last page where the totals are, you might be alarmed to see that 22 expenses are up in the budget, but that's a bit of a non-comparable to last year, because if you take a look through the report, I've highlighted a couple of areas. Those are at highway and sheriff. The reason our expenses are up, showing on this report this year, is mainly because of the capital projects that we moved into the operating budget this year. CHIPS is in there now, that's $4 million. So those are all being counted now within the variance report. So what's more informative is the final number on that fourth page, and that is the percentage difference. It's less than 0.5% from last year, so we are in good shape. Also, this report is based on 30% of the year gone by, and we've expended or encumbered 26% of the budget, so we're in good shape.
Okay. You got anything else, Phil?
Nope.
Thanks. Clerk Gardner?
Yeah, thank you. Just real quick, I gave you each, it says capital projects, reserves. How much is in each reserve, and then the sales tax reports. I just want to state that for the year, the yearly sales tax are still down almost $500,000. Where it's funny how you hear on the news, counties are up 20%. We can play that game too. We can go the accrual method and say we're up. But from January to now, we're still down $500,000. Couple big things coming up. Big check, I think tomorrow, and then probably another one in next month that we have to watch. So it is what it is.
We've seen it up, we've seen it down.
Yep.
And wait it out.
Yep. So, and real quick, just an update about the auction. I'm going to be sending out all the properties to the legislators. We're planning on the timeline is the end of June to go for 30 days, and then we sell them at the end of July. So we'll have 30 days online. And after the auction company's approved, hopefully next week, we'll start the process. I mentioned the government committee. I encourage the legislators to, anybody that calls you and tells you they were never notified what's going on, blame me and send them to me. So, because it's going to happen, and it's happened in the past. You don't need to take the fall to blame us, blame the treasurer. And then we prove us right, and we walk away.
Yeah,
So
I've never once did you not have documentation.
yeah, so far, we're lucky there. But again, no sense of sticking your neck out and trying to get involved in really kind of a personal matter. And we have all the information. Right now, we're looking at 115 properties with the city of Oswego. So whatever you decide to do with the city of Oswego and the land bank, that number is going to be dropped, which means we will be losing revenue as well. So, the state did actually come through and pay for some people. So right now, I think we had hardship cases around 12, and 7 have got approved to have the state pay their taxes. I missed that email, unfortunately. But so that's another factor that Florida, which is a good thing.
Especially since you got to take in the house now.
Yeah. So other than that, that's about it. And everything looks rolling.
Saving money on clothing, though, you see what his type of.
You know, like Lucy going through, they're getting a raise.
Very frugal.
Yeah. Guess what? I'll buy you a bigger box of paper
Use your
clips.
resources.
Hey, please, for the record, this is a home paperclip, not a county.
I was
paperclip.
Yeah, I'll buy you a box of another box of paper clips. You don't even have to reuse them. Okay. Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Ms. Carpenter,
Yes,
have at it. What do you have?
I have, proposed changes to the purchasing policy.
Okay.
I
I know
wrote
this
out a
was,
sheet, so it's easier to see. And
Yeah.
a copy of the purchasing policy, and the changes are in red.
yeah, I know the all committee members received the paperwork. I did see that there was some suggestions by Phil as far as the contracts go.
Yeah.
I think that's fine, I don't see an issue with that. I would like to, put out there a little something, maybe as the department heads have to have these contracts checked, maybe we can work something out with Rich's office, 24-hour turnaround, whatever, just for time's sake, for when they get contracts in, we get them turned over, get them back, so we can move forward with them, that's all, just, please help us take care of this quick. Other than that, I would look for,
So would that be all contracts, right? Are you
Yeah, well,
saying?
as I said, I wanted a chance to talk to Rich, but of course, he's out, for reasons we know. I know that there have been some issues with contracts that are below our current threshold that didn't protect the county well enough, and came back and created a headache. So,
that number was 3,000.
yeah, and now it'll be 5,000, but, and that's fine. I'm just worried that maybe we should have contract review include all contracts, regardless of the money, because there's been a few that, although low, they created some problems because they're vendor provided. Department doesn't have a lawyer, just signs off on it, and then it comes back to us.
So, but are you saying go through the whole process with every contract, or just?
No, just the county attorney, yeah, and wherever possible, use
I can
the
make
county
change.
attorney's template contract rather than a vendor supply contract.
Okay, that
That's,
makes
yeah,
sense.
and I think that would make it sensible for all, to make sure that the language is proper.
And that would speed it up if the county attorney's template contract is used, particularly for these little ones. Then just the review process is real fast.
Which you could,
The ones we initiate, that's what we use. But there's a ton of them that we don't see that come in from other departments.
well, that's where I would rely on you to reach out to the department heads and say, this is the template we're gonna use for contracts.
Okay.
If changes need to be made, it can go to Rich just to, fine tune, finesse, and then back and, speed it along.
Right, for that motion.
Word that could be amended to the contracts under 5,000. County template contract is to be used. Any deviation requested by a vendor needs to go through the county attorney's office. That'll take care of it.
That makes
Make
sense.
that motion.
Okay, so have a motion to amend, have a second by legislator Holst. Any other discussion on the amendment? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now as the policy as amended, I have a first, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you. Okay. We do have,
Good job, Holly. No. You know what, we have such a good contract, because I got a bunch of different contracts from different counties or towns or whatever. Ours was by far the most thorough that I saw out there,
Contract and policy.
the policy.
The policy.
Yeah.
yeah. So, okay, I understand that there's a memo for set salary, attorney and DSS. I've spoken with a few of the members of the committee here. I'd like to table this. We need to table, we'd like to table it. I have a first.
I'd like to make a motion.
Sure.
Just want to meet with Rich on this, and get his input whenever we deal with something with attorneys. At least myself, as I looked at it, I didn't want you to think we're just looking at this thing, throwing it out the window. But the fact that Richie had got hurt, he's not here. But things, anything attorney related, I would like to converse with Rich prior to making a decision. I know a few of the other legislators felt the same as well. That was the reason why I didn't want you to think we looked at it.
How long will it be tabled? Because we've been without a fourth attorney.
Well, we can
And
bring it
we are
right back.
really desperate. I have 7 termination of parental right petitions that needs to be pushed through. We're outside of regulatory statutes, and kids are waiting, and we don't have the capacity I wrote in my memo how, we have one fee for attorney who's down in Cape Cod now. That's not a good safety net for us. I'm hoping you read that we are going to be held in contempt of court if we can't show up with an attorney. I have talked with Rich about this.
I know we can meet.
If we had to reconvene for a special meeting,
That would be wonderful.
right now, there's questions out there that we need answers. And it's, again, I apologize, you know,
We can always have a special meeting
If we had
prior to
to,
the ledge
we
meeting.
could.
Just wanted, we need to confer with Rich first.
there's a few,
Can I be part of that consultation with Rich, since I'm the one they'd be working for?
right, but it doesn't all particularly pertain to your
Just the DSS salaries.
DSS salaries. It's a shockwave. It's much bigger than that. I mean, I hate to say it that way. That's why we need more information. We need more answers. We need to look at this in a bigger, broader picture. You know.
Well, if there's any other attorneys that work for another department that would like to come on down and practice family law versus what they're practicing, I would absolutely welcome them. So for 8 months, we've been trying to get an attorney. And if there were questions, we've only had 4 applicants in 8 months. And only recently did 3 step up because I kind of put it out there. We advertised again without putting the salary on.
Mhm.
The salary was left blank, or the bottom of that notice was left blank. And I put word out that I would go to bat to try and attract an experienced candidate and pay them what market rate would be.
Again,
I'm feeling desperate.
and I can understand that, but you know, you're saying market rate. Well, is it market rate? That's something I want to know. That's something that we intend on looking into diligently, quickly. Again, it's a much broader picture than it's not just your department.
Oh, I recognize that.
You know, it's a
I do.
shockwave.
Yes.
So that's part of the reason, and it's also part of the reason I want to speak to Rich. There's moving parts all the way around that we need some information on. We just need more information. So again, we're not throwing it out. It's not like we're saying no. It's not. We just need a little more time. So how's that?
I will let our candidate know that we should know in 3 to 4 weeks.
Hopefully.
If not sooner. If not sooner.
Okay.
We just have, again, there's more moving parts and there's more information that we're all looking to get.
And like you'll notice here, even on the agenda, it's not just with yours. I know we ran into this with solid waste. Like when I spoke with Carl, I don't want to throw a quick Band-Aid on something. We seem to have this problem in other areas that are closely related to that. So rather than just throw one and go back and deal with another one, that's kind of the reason. That's why we pulled the one model, because we were dealing with some issues there in a couple other spots.
We want to put the stitches in. We don't want to just put a Band-Aid on it.
Just kind of want to deal with it, make sure we don't come back next month.
Anyway, so I have a first to table it. I'll say 30 days, but we'll, till next meeting. And I have a second by legislator Halls. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you very much for appropriate motion.
Just a point of information for your planning purposes.
I didn't have anything on here from you.
I
I'm
know.
ready.
We've got a shockwave.
Oh my goodness
Like you're
gracious.
still on vacation.
Mr. Turner, is there anything you'd like to discuss with us today?
Well, just so you can plan for your next meeting. As you recall, the process for approving the expenditure of the rescue money involves the chairman's task force to do a review, recommendations that go to the appropriate jurisdictional committee, which then flow over to your committee. And at the pace that we're working right now, you could expect maybe 20 to 30 reviews in that cycle for your next meeting. So depending on how many make it through jurisdictional committees, you might want to time-wise
Yeah,
plan for your next meeting that there'll be.
of course, and if we have information from you, we're gonna have this or that, we'll plan accordingly, for that. I mean, even if we had to pull in a half an hour earlier or whatever to address some of that, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I don't know if anybody else. But we'll certainly work at it, keep us abreast of what's going on, and then we'll absolutely handle it as it comes through.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that that's moving forward. I did speak with the chairman last week, and he said that there was things moving forward, and we'll be notified soon enough on that, so. Well, you didn't say it quite as eloquently as I did. Okay, anything else? Are we good? Oh, I got a motion. I got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?